of the puddle play that we did at Loveday. It was definitely fun, but regretting that now. There's just crap everywhere. So the car's all cleaned up. It literally feels like engine bay porn. It'll be a part 1, cleaning the engine bay. Part 2 would be replacing the batteries. I've got the Pajero in a garage here. It's just started raining. I was gonna do it outside, but it's getting too bloody wet and cold. Yeah, so I've got 2 jobs to do today. I need to change the batteries. So let me flip this camera around. So you can see here, I've got my primary and secondary. I'll go through my battery setup once I'm all done. If you have a look at all the corrosion, not good for the internals and especially the battery. So I'll go through that once I'm all done, and I'll show you what batteries I'm changing. But also, if you have a look at this mess, that's a result of the puddle play that we did at Loveday. It was definitely fun, but regretting that now. There's just crap everywhere. Not too bad. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The last service that I'd done, the mechanic mentioned there's a couple of leaks down underneath the engine bay. So what I'd like to do is give it a good clean and then just watch to see if any more oil comes through. That's gonna be a few hours work. So I'm gonna start off with a clean up, clean the engine bay as much as I can, get it as clean as possible, get rid of all the mud and silt. That can't be too good for the cooling as well if it's around the radiator. But yeah, see how I go. Giving it a crack. About to get started, just got some cloths here. These are just kids' clothes I've just ripped up into usable pieces. A couple of old paint brushes. There's a bottle brush here as well to get into the little gaps. Some gloves, garbage bags. I'm going to use that to cover the engine. And some degreaser to wipe away some of the oil buildup. You can always use a socket set, screwdrivers and little bits and pieces. First things first, I'll remove the plastic engine cover. And importantly, disconnect the first and second battery. Whenever washing the engine bay, always disconnect the batteries to ensure nothing gets short-circuited. Using the garbage bags, covering the motor to make sure no water gets into the spark plugs or any of the electricals. If you don't have big enough garbage bags, double up if you need to. After removing the front air scoop, I've also covered the side of the air filter with a plastic bag. Once the garbage bags are in place, I've put the engine cover back on to hold everything down. Now grab the garden hose and wash around the engine bay. You don't want a strong spray here, just a soft flow to get in and around the spots. Using the paintbrush, I use that to scrub and tease away all the dirt and mud. At this point, I remember to remove the front grille. I've also used the bottle brush to get in and under the tight spots. After the first wash, I've grabbed the degreaser and the paintbrush and applied that to the more stubborn areas. After a quick rinse, you can see the engine bay is starting to look clean now. I can still see some pockets of dirt and grease. So I've taken some detergent and water in a spray bottle and scrubbed that around with a paintbrush. Another quick rinse. Once again, spray the detergent or the degreaser, and this time with a bottle brush, scrub the really hard to reach areas. Be extremely careful when scrubbing around the dipstick because you don't want to move them around or have them left up and water get inside them. Give it another good rinse and repeat that process again for as many times as you need. Similar process with the front air scoop and the grill. Scrub the dirt off with the detergent and give it a good rinse. Now that the engine bay has been washed and rinsed, it's time to take the garbage bags off. I'm not too worried about the dry dirt marks around the hoses, as I'll now be cleaning everything by hand. Underneath, you can see all the dust, dirt and oil that's built up around the motor over the last 10 to 15 years. Now this is when the actual work begins. Take a piece of cloth and spray some degreaser into it and start wiping away the dirt and oil buildup. Here I've started with the motor. And already after a few minutes, you can see the difference. Now it's just a matter of repeating the same thing slowly around the engine bay. Here I've used a little tool to push the cloth down into tight little spaces. In some parts, I've used a paintbrush to sweep the dirt away.
Such a sexy god. Babe.
Oh my god. You're supposed to record what I'm doing, not recording what I'm wearing.
It's so hot for you right now.
Is dirt. After a number of hours over the weekend, I've used a couple of cans of degreaser, numerous amount of cloths, working away the dirt from around the motor and the hoses. You can see the engine bay is really starting to look different. Another wet, cold day. I've had to push the Pajero inside the garage to keep it away from the rain, keep it dry. As you can see, the car's coming along well. Done a bit of work last couple of days anyway. Time to put the cover on and the grille. So there it is. That'll be the cleanest it'll be for a long time. Definitely won't be going through mud anytime soon. They'll teach me a lesson. So look out for the dual battery replacement and setup video. Until then, check out the engine bay before and after shots.